By the end of this week, we will have more details on what the extension will look like for Canada's emergency response benefit. Over the course of the pandemic, more than 8 million people have been relying on CERB payments. For all of that and more, we're joined by the Globe and Mail's Laura Stone. Hey, Laura, good to see you.
Good morning.
Let's start with CERB. I mean, the government's initial plan was to gradually wean people off and onto the federal subsidy program, but fewer companies have applied for that program, fewer than anticipated. So how long do you think we could see CERB go for, and at what cost to taxpayers?
Well, we know that Prime Minister Trudeau is facing a lot of pressure from the NDP to extend CERB for at least an additional 6 months. Those payments are set to expire in July and later this summer, depending on when Canadians applied. And in order to pass a very important spending bill in the House of Commons on Wednesday, the government needs support from another party. The NDP has said they will support this as long as the government extends these CERB payments. But you're right, Lindsey. I think Prime Minister Trudeau had hoped that more companies would apply for the wage subsidy so that companies could rehire people back on the payroll, and then they could come back to work, because one of the issues is getting people comfortable coming back to work as the economy reopens. So this could be months more now that the CERB is in place. And this has already cost tens of billions of dollars, and it will cost tens of billions of dollars more.
Switching gears, the Assembly of First Nations National Chief Perry Bellegarde has called for a total overhaul of Canada's police, saying systemic racism needs systemic change. What has been the response from Prime Minister Trudeau?
Well, Prime Minister Trudeau has faced days of questions over this issue. And late last night, we also heard from a Senator, Lillian Dick, who has actually called on RCMP Commissioner Brenda Lucki to resign after she struggled to define systemic racism. Prime Minister Trudeau has said he stands by his commissioner. But essentially now he's saying he is speaking with leaders of Black and Indigenous communities in order to expedite some of the changes that need to happen. And he has been facing some tough calls because he has been in power for 5 years, and there are a lot of questions about money that the Liberal government has not spent on racialized communities, and action that has not been taken during this time. So we do expect the Prime Minister to be announcing some concrete steps in the near future, but he's also facing some tough questions about his inaction as well.
And lastly, I want to ask you, Laura, about the Conservative Party hosting this physical distant leadership debate. Some party members concerned about that. How come?
Well, it's going to be a virtual debate of the 4 leadership contenders, including the frontrunners, Aaron O'Toole and Peter MacKay. Look, it's difficult to engage when you're sitting in different rooms and debating each other virtually. You know, this is in the middle of a pandemic. There's actually going to be 2 debates, a French language one and an English language debate. But that said, last time around, we had 14 people standing on a stage in a leadership race trying to debate each other. This one is obviously a much smaller group, and it's really the first time that members will be able to see, first of all, how these leaders are their proficiency in French, which is very important, and also how they're going to be pitching themselves to members when they come to a vote, including socially conservative members, which are a key part of this race when this comes to a vote in August.
Yeah, Laura, thank you. We'll be watching closely. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.